Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. So for this video, I thought we'd go ahead and talk about War for the Planet of the Apes. I saw this, I think I saw it opening weekend. I believe it was opening weekend. So let me start by saying, in case you didn't know, I should have reviews for the other two, for Rise and Dawn, up. If I do, go check them out. If I don't, whoops. But you know, this being the third movie in a trilogy now of films, I wasn't sure. Like, everything looked good. Like, the trailers look good. You have Matt Reeves coming back, and now we find out he's directing, the Batman film, which I'm actually looking really forward to because, he did Dawn for the Planet of the Apes, and I really enjoyed both movies. Like, spoiler alert for my reviews, but I make bigger points than that. But the point is that I did enjoy those films, so everything looked good coming into this one. And third movies have, in a trilogy, perhaps have the hardest time in a way, because once you've established something in the first film, once you've gotten them on board, gotten the audience on board, you have to, by the third film, wrap things up, or at least that's the usual way things go out. I know there's tons of films now that have more than just 30 parts to them, but in general, when you're doing that story, the middle part will always be the darkest, or consistently seems to be the darkest, like Empire Strikes Back, for example. And in the third film, you have to bring everything to its conclusion. So I always wondered, how are they going to do this, or how is it going to work? But this movie, it started off pretty big. Spider-Man, I think, had a 60% drop on the weekend that this opened up, and people were like, well, what do you expect? You're going up against War for the Planet of the Apes. It's a big movie and everything. But then the next week, I think War dropped 63% or so. And then the week after that, it's not even in the top 5. Like, this movie has just fallen away, and I'm not really sure why. Because, again, spoiler alert for this review, I love this film. Andy Serkis is back as Caesar. We have Woody Harrelson as the Colonel in this film, and I think he was a very kind of interesting villain. I liked his dynamic, his back and forth with Caesar, and I think Woody Harrelson always does a good job acting-wise, but I think he really killed it here. And you have Steve Zahn coming in as Bad Ape, and some people compare that to being the Jar Jar of the series, and I understand that. For me personally, I didn't really feel like it was to that degree. I see where they're coming from, but it didn't quite go to that degree for me. So this film... sorry, I'm forgetting an actress name off the top of my head. I'm gonna Amia Miller. I probably said that wrong, but she was Nova, and that's kind of a nice nod to the original, which this actually does not lead into. Like, I always thought these three films would lead to the eventual Planet of the Apes, but that's not the way it works. They do things differently here. Things have already been established as being different going. So this is a rebooted series it's a reboot series of the original. So anyway, I thought the cinematography was great. The score was epic as usual. All the acting performances were brilliant, just on point. I think the only thing that notches this down for me is the war aspect is more of a mental fight with Caesar as he's kind of battling to get the notion of giving into revenge and hating all humans, and then what started him, the humanity that, or in a way, that was in him, and he's kind of having this battle, and it's more of a internal war than an external war from what we've seen. But I think the action is really good. There's some notches of humor in it that work, but there's a lot of deep moments and kind of depressing moments. And this film really wraps up perfect, really. I mean, this is one of these three movies now create one of, if not the greatest in some instances trilogies for me, because aside from Lord of the Rings, I can't really pin a trilogy that equals up to this caliber. And I know I did a lot more talking on, say, the other points, like the fall of this movie. This movie deserves to be seen. Absolutely, the CG has improved, and I didn't think that was possible, but it has. So that's always nice. They still keep core elements through this that they've kept in the other films. It's not just every human's good and every ape is bad. There's that balance, or in this case, where how they present it, where the apes are all good. It's not like that. There's different layers to this film. There's so many different layers till this film, and we see these characters and how they've progressed. And I think all these characters we've grown to know, and we've grown to like appreciate. And so when we lose someone, it really affects us in a way that you wouldn't think normally starting off that these would be able to do. I mean, but it does. Everything goes through. There's some little twists. There's some little spins and nods to the original again, which I like. I hope for this series, this is a trilogy, so this is the end of it. And I can't think of a better way to kind of end on. So on that note, giving it a rating, I'm going to give it a 5, which I still have yet to establish a Star Wars quote to that. So if you can think of a good one, let me know for what would be a 5. But anyway, that's my review of this. Hopefully you guys have seen this movie. If not, tell me, why haven't you seen it yet? Like, what is keeping you from doing so? Is there something that's not connecting with you? Or if you have seen it, what are your thoughts on it? Go and let me know in the comments below. And until next time, peace.